Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today I am back to give you some, hopefully, quick-fire recommendations if you are currently participating in Non-Fiction November and you're wanting to get a few recommendations of things that will fit into Olive's 4 prompts. Those 4 prompts being collection, industry, style and treatment. Maybe you want these recommendations to see you through to the end of the month, or maybe you just want to carry them forward into your non-fiction reading for the rest of the year. Either way, let's get into these recommendations. First off, starting with collection. And the first thing that definitely comes to mind for me for collection are letter collections. Getting to see the correspondence that passed hands between different historical figures is always good fun. One that I know a lot of people love on BookTube is 84 Charing Cross Road by Hallie and Hanff, which you can't really see in the light like that. This is better, yeah? Which collects together the different letters that were exchanged between Helene and the owners of 84 Charing Cross Road, which was an antiquarian bookshop in London, collected over 2 decades and really showcasing their friendship, as well as some literary interest. Or perhaps you might be interested in Dear Mr. Murray, Letters to a Gentleman Publisher, which collates the many different generations of Mr. John Murrays who owned John Murray Publishers, all of the different authors and editors who they corresponded with, some famous names being Jane Austen, Lord Byron, among many others. A very cute collection of letters is Letters to Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien, another one that takes place over multiple decades. Tolkien as a father writing to his children as Father Christmas. It's super cute and creative and definitely one for this time of year. Maybe when it comes to historical letters you want something a little bit more general, in which case the collection written in history will definitely appeal to you. Collecting the prominent letters from figures such as Alexander Hamilton, Emmeline Pankhurst to even Stalin. This one's definitely a great taster. One book that I absolutely have to recommend for the prompt of collection is The Only Plane in the Sky, The Oral History of 9/11. This, rather than a collection of letters, is a collection of oral testimonies taken from the past 2 decades since 9/11 occurred. Different people recounting their own experiences of the day, as well as the legacy of this traumatic event. It's super powerful and so haunting. I definitely recommend this one, especially since the 20th anniversary has just been and gone. Alternatively, another kind of collection that you could pick up would be an essay collection. Have a chance to read from some great minds. I can definitely recommend 2 essay collections edited by Nikesh Shukla. First off, we have Rife, 21 Stories from Britain's Youth, 21 stories of what it is like to grow up in Britain as a young person today, as well as The Good Immigrant, which explores otherness and racial inequality in Britain. And then finally, I couldn't talk about essay collections without talking about Stop What You're Doing and Read This, which is one of my favourite essay collections of all time. Multiple different prominent authors talking about books, libraries, and why reading is so important. The next prompt is industry, and to be honest with you, this is probably the harder one for me to find recommendations for, but I have tried my best here. It's an old saying and one that has been interrogated frequently, that sex work is one of the oldest professions of human history. I'm not going to dispute that today, that is a conversation for another time. But if we are talking about the history of the sex industry, then 2 books I would definitely like to recommend to you would be The Origins of Sex, A History of the First Sexual Revolution by Faramerz, as well as The Covent Garden Ladies by Hallie Rubenhold, both of which tackle the 18th century and what is often considered to be the first sexual revolution, another kind of term that I could dispute, but both absolutely fantastic books. I'm hoping I've managed to block out the sun a little bit. There we go. Got it. Apologies for the change in lighting. I'm trying to make sure that this doesn't keep happening. If you're looking for a brilliant book that talks about the darker side of industry, then might I recommend to you The Radium Girls by Kate Moore, taking place in the early half of the 20th century and talking about the very unfortunate, very tragic experiences of the young women who worked using radium paint on watch dials, who as consequence ended up having severe health issues, and for whom justice for this was hard won. A memoir that is all about the entertainment industry is Where Am I Now?, written by former child star Mara Wilson, who you may know more commonly as Matilda. This recounts her experience growing up in Hollywood, growing up on film sets, and also her decision to move away from the entertainment industry. What it is like to be a child actor where all of your capital, so to speak, is in your cuteness. What do you do when you are no longer considered Hollywood cute? Moving on to the prompt that I am a little bit more comfortable with, which is style. We know that I am very much a fan of historical style, and therefore I'm going to recommend to you Tudor Fashion by Lynn and Dress in the Age of Jane Austen by Hilary Davidson. Do you see the joy that these 2 books bring me? Both absolutely fantastic books about the fashion of the Tudor period and the Regency respectively. Beautiful, fantastic, so many images in here. I'm very happy. If you would like to learn about a couple of stylish historical individuals, then I would recommend to you Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire, particularly the illustrated version of this biography by Amanda Foreman, as well as Perdita by Paula Byrne, which is all about the life of actress Mary Robinson. Just throwing in some super stylish 18th century ladies for you all. However, if you would like to use this prompt to work on your own wardrobe, to work on your own style, then I would highly recommend The Curated Closet by Anushka Rees, which is a fantastic, very in-depth how-to guide to making your wardrobe work better for for you. Really delving into things like colour theory, considering your basic staple and statement pieces of your wardrobe to create a more balanced, harmonious wardrobe. I'm a big fan of it and it's definitely helped on many a declutter of my wardrobe. Finally, we are on to the last prompt of treatment. There are definitely two different avenues you could go down with for this. Firstly, medical treatment of the body, in which case I recently read and loved Unwell Women, A Journey Through Medicine and Myth in a Man-Made World by Eleanor Cleghorn, an absolutely fantastic historical examination of how women have been treated or mistreated in terms of their medical status during the past millennia. Another history on this subject that I absolutely love is Medieval Bodies by Jack Hartnell. This breaks up each chapter by body part and really examines how the medieval period understood these different parts of the body in both art and life, which definitely includes medicine and treatment along the way. However, the other way that you could twist this prompt of treatment is talking about how we treat other people, and there are so many books I could recommend for this. Some historical recommendations that I could give would be Young and Damned and Fair, which is the life of Catherine Howard by Gareth Russell, talking about Henry VIII's fifth wife and the horrible ways that she was treated throughout her life, as well as examining how we have treated her in the present, really delving into the historical record and giving a re-examination of her life. The Five by Hallie Rubenhold is a very, very popular retelling of the victims of Jack the Ripper, turning the focus away from this murderer and really looking at these 5 women who he killed, shifting the focus rightfully back onto them. Another Hallie Rubenhold book would be The Scandalous Lady W, which really examines how in the 18th century people who were seen to deviate from sexual norms were treated through the figure of Lady Seymour Worsley. Whereas British by Afua Hirsch is part memoir, part examination of Britain's treatment of racial minorities and the long ways that we still have to go in achieving racial equality. So there we go, those are all of my recommendations for non-fiction November. I hope there was something interesting and useful here. I do apologise for the light situation at the beginning of the video, hopefully it's a lot better now. Do let me know any of the books that you would recommend. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks, bye.